Hey guys, it is that awkward time between Christmas and New Year's. When people start talking about New Year's resolutions, they start talking about what the New Year is going to bring. And oftentimes we kind of get caught up in just that hamster wheel of a whole new year and making goals or making resolutions that we don't actually follow through on. Well, in this video, I want to share with you an insight that I guarantee will change your approach to the year, and it may even bring about results in what God has called you to in a way that other things have not. So I hope that's hooked you. I hope that grabs your attention because I really think this is going to be helpful for you. Check it out coming up. Hey guys, my name is Mark, and if you're new to the channel, I invite you to leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe to the channel so that you get these videos right there in your inbox when they come out. Okay, so let's dive into this. New Year's is a time when people start to talk about revisiting vision and making goals, and these things are important. In fact, they're biblical. One of the most helpful scriptures in the Bible I know of is found in Proverbs 29. And it says this in verse 18, where there is no vision or revelation, the people cast off restraint. But happy is he who keeps the law. There is this relationship between vision and self-control. Well, the Bible tells us the way that we get self-control is not by gritting our teeth and using willpower, but instead by getting a vision for what God's calling us to. So the beginning of walking out God's vision for our life looks like getting vision because it empowers our hearts to walk in self-control. So here's the question I want you to ask yourself as you pursue vision in this new year. What one thing could you do in each area of your life that would dramatically change things in that part of your life? Usually, one thing will change things in a big way. We want to make a list of a lot of things that we do, but usually it's something that is actually really important, but not urgent, that will change things for us. The reality is that moving towards vision most of the time involves pursuing things that are important, but not urgent. Let me say that again. When we are pursuing big God-sized vision, what He speaks over our life, most of the time it involves us taking steps that are important, that actually will make an impact in moving us towards that vision, but don't seem to be the most urgent thing on our radar at the moment. So it makes sense, right, that we should avoid unimportant things in our life. And if you look at the quadrant you see on your screen, quadrants 3 and 4 are pretty obvious, right? That we are not going to pursue things that are not urgent and not important. These sorts of things we move past in our lives. But it's when we begin to look at the things that are important but not urgent, that's where it gets interesting. By pursuing the one thing in each area that is important but not urgent, we move ourselves out of crisis management mode. Most of us find ourselves in quadrant 1 where we are doing the urgent thing, the thing that's right in front of us, the fire that needs putting out. We end up letting other people's problems become our problems. Now, I'm not saying in this to not be compassionate, to not care about people, but oftentimes there are things that are happening in other people's lives that are their problem that we take on as our problem, and they end up being a distraction to us. So as we begin to pursue God's vision for our life, oftentimes identifying that one thing that is important but not urgent and making a step towards it will make the biggest impact in our growth in our life in a given area. Spiritual disciplines and our investment in our family life oftentimes falls into that second quadrant. It's as we pursue digging deep into a life with Jesus, it's as we pursue building relationships in a proactive way in that quadrant 2. These things are actually really important, but oftentimes not urgent. There's oftentimes all these other things that come up. Gotta answer this email, gotta answer this text, gotta go help this person with this thing. That these things begin to take over our life and we don't get around to the important things. And really, one of the most helpful things to do to move towards this is to get this in our heads, to understand this paradigm of important but not urgent. And as we begin to pursue the important but not urgent, we begin to do what this proverb says and restrain ourselves from the things that are right in front of us that we can delegate to somebody else or just flat out ignore and move past, and instead to move towards the things that will actually get us to take steps towards the vision that God has given us in our life. So I want to say this. as human beings, we're going to have crises, right? We're going to have those times where something that is absolutely urgent, that is important, begins to take over our life. We're going to have unexpected things come up, we're going to have unexpected challenges, and we're going to need to move towards those things, absolutely, in our lives. But when we pursue proactively quadrant 2 and proactively pursue the important but not urgent, we begin to take control of our lives. We begin to take back ownership of our lives rather than letting our external circumstances begin to dictate the kind of life and the way that we're going to live. And this is where you get to be creative. You get to find ways to take a step forward towards an important thing that's not urgent, that will really genuinely impact that area of your life, your spirituality, your prayer life. Maybe it's as simple as putting up a list of things you're going to pray for in the shower. Maybe it's as simple as putting your Bible on your nightstand. Maybe it's the Bible and getting that in your life that will really transform your spirituality. Maybe it's being on mission, and maybe it's setting aside your lunchtime as a time that you're going to begin to share the gospel around the place where you work. I don't know what it is, but there's one thing in each area that will dramatically move you forward in that part of your life. So today I want to just challenge you to sit down with the Bible, sit down with a blank piece of paper in a quiet place, begin to ask God in each area of your life, God, what is an important thing that may not even be the most urgent thing that would help me to move forward in this area of my life? Hope that's helpful, guys. See you next time, and Happy New Year. Guys, I sure hope this has been helpful content, and if it has, please take a moment and subscribe to our channel and leave us a question, leave us a comment. We'd love to connect with you and talk with you more.